Okay, Monday, June 13th, right around 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Thanks for joining me. I'm Tom Novak. And yeah, we're bringing you an update here on a weather pattern change that is taking place as we speak. We are going from what has been a cool first half of June now to what's going to be a hot second half of June, at least during periods of the second half of June. And of course, in between, we got some thunderstorms. This update, this briefing, by the way, is brought to you by Weather Safe Restoration. Weather Safe, yeah, they're located in the Twin Cities metro, but they cover basically all of the upper Midwest, especially concentrating on Minnesota, western Wisconsin. You have storm damage or you need anything done to the exterior of your office, your business, or your homestead, give Weather Safe a call. Mike and his team over there will help you out. Thank you, Mike, for believing in Novak Weather. Thank you, Weather Safe, for sponsoring this update. All right, here are the storms that I was talking about. It's the infrared satellite loop, and they hit southern Minnesota hard, especially southeastern Minnesota. I'm going to show you that here in just a little bit. But portions of southeastern Minnesota were dealing with thunderstorms basically the whole morning. And now they're moving into Wisconsin, where they are severe. There's some severe thunderstorm warnings here near Madison and Milwaukee. So get used to it, because I think we're going to have another round of storms similar to this one on Wednesday morning into Wednesday afternoon. I hear those storms again on the visible satellite imagery that are pushing east into Wisconsin now. And where you see clearing here over western and portions of southwestern and southern Minnesota, temps are really starting to shoot up. They're well into the 80s. We're going to likely hit into the low 90s over western Minnesota before the day is done here. And there's even warmer air than that out in Nebraska and the Dakotas that'll be pushing north and east into our region. Now, the thunderstorms this morning, by the way, I really wanted to show you this. As I mentioned, they hit southeastern Minnesota pretty hard, especially just north of that I-90 corridor. Portions of those sections of Minnesota would be from Rochester on west to just south of Mankato. They're measuring rainfall totals in that 3 to 4 inch range in the Rochester area. Anywhere from an inch to 2 inches of rain is common across Olmsted County and Rochester. And then again, further west, you can double that figure to almost 4 inches in a narrow swath from near Faribault, or just south of Faribault, to just south of Mankato. So that's where the rains were today, at least the heaviest rains. Much of southern Minnesota received at least some rain today, and that's going to be important because we're going to get into a real hot and dry period here as we get into the second half of June. All right, why is that? We'll take a look at these are what we call the height anomalies across the United States and southern Canada. And I'm going to rewind this. I'm going to put this back to today, and you can see a deep trough here out west with a ridge now pumping up north into southern Canada. That means that warm air will be migrating north and northeast from the desert southwest and from the Gulf of Mexico up into the upper Midwest. And usually a battle zone occurs between this blue area, or shrinking heights or contracting heights, and then this warm air, or this warm area here, this warm air over the central portion of the United States. And as I had mentioned, in between you get a battle zone, and that's why we get these thunderstorms here over Minnesota. Now, that also creates some temperatures that are pretty warm for this time of the year. We're looking at temperatures, especially in western Minnesota now, and the Dakotas and Nebraska, 10 to 15 degrees above the average. You get down into Kansas and temperatures are about 20 degrees above the average. That means they're going to be in the hundreds probably today. Now watch what happens as we go through time. The temperatures, they cool off just a little bit here as we get into later this week, but still right around the average. And then I really wanted you to focus on what happens this weekend. This is Sunday and now Monday morning, and let's go into Monday afternoon. This is the European computer model guidance, by the way. Temperatures are good 15 to 25 degrees, maybe even 30 degrees above the average over the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Average high for this time of the year should be in the upper 70s. So if we're talking about temperatures about 20 degrees above the average, yes, that means some of us are going to be approaching 100 degrees as we head into Sunday, but especially Monday and Tuesday of next week. And I think that warm air is going to continue even as we head into the latter portions of next week. And a lot of that does have to do with this ridge that is firing here over Minnesota and the upper Midwest. This is as we go, sorry for that box there, but this is as we go into Saturday morning. Look at how this ridge just develops over the central portion of the United States, and that only intensifies as we get into next week with that warm air. All right, hey, real quick, this is our last opportunity, I think, for significant rain is going to come on Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. And one of the reasons for that is because the winds at 20 to 25,000 feet are going to be pretty strong. They're going to be at about 80 to 90 knots, maybe even near 100 knots of southwesterly winds over Minnesota and western Wisconsin as we get into the late morning and afternoon hours on Wednesday. And along with that, we're going to have some warm air in place, or at least just to the south of us. You can see a front now. These are the temperatures, expected temperatures from the NAM computer model guidance as we get into Wednesday afternoon. Clearly a front is going to be right over central, or I should say southern and eastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, with temperatures in the 60s with thunderstorms and showers, I think, over southern and eastern Minnesota. Meanwhile, temperatures will be in the 90s, well into the 90s over the southeastern corner of Minnesota and much of Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So there will be a clash of air masses right here over eastern and southern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. You combine that with the strong southwesterly winds at 20 to 25,000 feet, and you do get a recipe for what looks to be our next and best opportunity for significant rain. And we are going to need it, because look at the extended forecast here. Okay, there's that cool day and rainy day with some thunderstorms here on Wednesday. This is for southern and eastern Minnesota. Let's keep that in mind. It'll be a lot warmer in western Minnesota on Wednesday. A real hot day tomorrow. So be prepared, get the liquids ready, and try to stay in a cool place if you can tomorrow. And then here comes that dry and warm air for Thursday, Friday, and then especially as we get into next weekend. It looks beautiful, but we're going to need rain, and a lot of us are already starting to get into a bit of a drought, especially as you head into the Twin Cities metro and portions of southern Minnesota. Those that didn't get rain today are starting to feel the effects of a bit of a drought, and it's going to intensify if we don't get rain on Wednesday. So, and then like I had mentioned, as you go past this weekend into next week, it looks even hotter. So yeah, lots to talk about here. All right, that's your forecast. Thanks for joining me. Thank you, WeatherSafe, for sponsoring this video briefing. Take care, everyone.